This is Jonathan Aguilar here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Gareth A Davies. Gareth, so much going on in boxing this week, last week, so had to get you on. How's things?
Very good, thank you. And nice. I'm at home, obviously. Here, I'm heading to Wembley every day at the moment, and from certainly from tomorrow morning. Usyk and Dubois have been doing their things in London today. Usyk in Trafalgar Square unveiling a brilliant tapestry by the 17, I think 17 Ukrainian artists. To that, let me find it. It's very, very interesting. As he always does, he steps out of the zone and steps into. Sorry, I nearly joined our Zoom call
Oh,
from my
that's about.
phone. But I was just going to read it to you from the artist. Very interesting in Trafalgar Square, and I said I'd push it out there a little bit. The artist Alahorska from Mariupol, Ukraine, who the artist was tragically killed by the Soviet Secret Service in 1970, and the original work was damaged by Russia's attack on Ukraine in 2022. It's been recreated as a tapestry by 15 artists through Ukrainian business Rosetka, and the Ukrainian Wow Company, raising awareness about artists whose work Russia seeks to erase. Very, very interesting. Daniel Dubois jumped on a double-decker bus, nearly got toppled by a tree. An open-top double-decker bus going through London, nearly got hit by a tree early on. So it's all started here. I know you've hot-footed it across America, and I'm very envious because, my friends, I think I did, at the last count, I did 20 of Manny Pacquiao's fights. And I've got a lot of friends both from the Philippines and from the American media and from the Filipino media, the Philippines media, who are at it and praying for a miracle. And if anyone can pull it off, it's Manny, as Bob Arum told me a couple of weeks ago, his erstwhile promoter. But if I wasn't here with Dubois and Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight championship, nothing would have stopped me being exactly where you are right now in a little hotel suite in Vegas, living it up, and what will be the final fight, I imagine, of the great, one of the modern greats, one of the all-time greats in Manny Pacquiao.
Before we get on to talking about this weekend, because there's a lot going on, let's go back we'll start with Saturday night in New York. Edgar Berlanga knocked out by Hamzah Sheeraz. Surprised or not?
Well, the manner of the victory was a viral moment for the career of Hamzah Sheeraz. I thought he'd get hit a bit more. I thought Berlanga, well, I know that Berlanga hits hard but is easy to hit. Hamzah hit him very hard and wasn't hit much, so it all went his way. I thought he finished him in the fourth round. Couldn't understand why he came out for the fifth round, especially with his father in the corner. I don't get that at all. I thought he was a noisy buffoon all week, and Hamzah put him in his place, and Hamzah put himself in a place where he's going to be very highly rated. I think Ring Magazine will put him in at number 4 or 5, or I think maybe even number 7 in the super middleweight division. Very fine performance, did everything right, showed a lot of class and dignity all week, while the lunatics ran the asylum at the press conferences.
In terms of Shiraz, obviously, I mean, with a performance like that, uh, to knock out Belanga like he did, surely that puts him right in the Canelo mix.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, before I spoke to Frank Warren just before the fight for the Fight Nights show, he was on the phone while we were in the studio at Talk Sport, and I questioned really after speaking to Frank whether Hamza is ready for a Canelo fight, even though I've pushed it out there as a quasi kind of promoter and talked about it in these kind of discursive moments that I have with people like yourself who are looking to project what may go on, in the next year or so. We do it all the time, don't we? And I just wondered before the fight whether Canelo's right for him, but really after the fight, if we get two Canelo fights against Terence Crawford, that will take a lot more out of him. The timing might be perfect for Hamzah Sheeraz as the 10th Briton to be a non-victim against Canelo if they meet, which probably would be September next year, I imagine, if there's two Canelo Crawford fights. So by then, Hamzah will be waiting to become a light heavyweight, I think, because I think there's a lot that he can do at super middle. He's got the frame of Callum Smith, and we know what he did. Canelo is the obvious fight out there for him, and then he probably steps up to light middleweight. But right now, he's in a position, I think, to challenge for. Hasn't he moved to number one with the?
I believe he's in line to be mandatory for the WBC title, I believe.
Yeah, well, there you go. So they've just got to find some opponents to keep him going. He's a great kid. I agree that he could develop a great following, Pakistani, Muslim, British, and even American after this. Because Berlanga made a lot of noise about him. That's the one thing. Berlanga was like his major cheerleader, really, when you look back on it, because all he did was light a fire under Hamzah Sheeraz, who shut him up with smoking hooks.
Just want to touch on Friday night at Madison Square
Can
Garden.
you ask me about
Sure.
Shakur? People give hard time.
Absolutely. Shakur Stevenson. Talk to me actually about Shakur's performance, because some people felt he got hit by Zepeda, and then they were saying, well, what would happen if Tank did it? But were you overall impressed by Shakur? Everyone called for him to take the fight to someone. That's certainly what he did.
He did everything. He showed his complete personality. William Zepeda showed he's a not a one-trick pony, because that's too unkind, but he's a ferocious, forward-thinking, forward-advancing, aggressive machine, a threshing machine who never stops throwing punches. But he was thwarted many times. He was avoided many times by Shakur's evasiveness on the ropes. The problem for him optically after 5 rounds was that Zepeda looked like he was winning the fight. But the more you watched it, the more you knew that Shakur was doing great things, and then he took over from the 6th round onwards and won every round, in my view. And that he won 8 rounds to 4. I thought he took the first round, he lost the next 4, and then he worked him out and he won the fight. He's brilliant. We saw all his personality in there, his complete fighting personality. The grins when he did get clipped, the ability to show hand speed and timing, to withstand a very dangerous fighter who was 33-0 with 27 knockouts, by the way. All the people complaining about Shakur Stevenson can fucking do one. He's brilliant. And people have moaned about him for a long time. You know me, I've been on his case that he's a brilliant fighter for a very long time. He belongs in the top 10 pound for pound in our sport. I think the only guy that will truly challenge him, I mean, Teo Lopez could give him a good challenge at 140 if they made it a 140. 147 is going to be a stretch for Shakur because he hasn't got a body like Terence Crawford that can go up and up and up the weight divisions. But and I've used this description of him with a few other people, and I'm going to give it to you as well, because you can all go and look at this guy. I used to watch a cartoon called Felix the Cat, and he reminds me of Felix. Do you remember Felix the Cat or not?
No, I don't.
The wonderful, wonderful cat. He always dug into his bag of tricks, but he's got a bag of tricks, and he showed probably a third of those tricks on Saturday night. I thought he was brilliant. His resonance has grown. No one should be complaining about him. Tank is the big challenge. Those two should fight each other. If Turki Al-Sheikh wants to make boxing big in America, put Tank against Shakur on in a trilogy series, and you'll see some great, great boxing. That's what Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh should be doing, not fucking around doing this, that, and the other. Put those two on. They're the biggest fights in America. They're the two biggest, most successful, most accomplished boxers in America. Put them on. Get them done. End of.
On when you said about him going to 147, I know he said that the only fight he'd look at there would be Conor Benn. And they've just gone, I think they did a joint interview together on Ariel's show today. Is that a fight you'd like to see?
Conor Benn gets completely wiped by Shakur Stevenson. Completely outboxed and made to look a fool in there.
Okay, that's said it. All we need to know about that.
What do you think? What do you think?
Well, I think Shakur would probably outbox him, but Conor Benn does have a big punch, so that's the question. If he lands, what
Well,
happens?
he's a much bigger fighter. I'm talking about
Exactly.
technical skills here. Not saying I don't want to see it.
Mm.
If that sold out stadium in the UK and Conor's going to do his thing and come on strong and get a chance to be the guy that's two weight divisions above, great. But I'm sorry, but Shakur's on a different level.
On Friday's fight at Madison Square Garden, Katie Taylor making it 3-0 against Amanda Serrano. Not the classic we all thought it would be, but yeah, what did you make of the fight?
It's even though it was a standoff affair and Amanda Serrano played into Katie Taylor's hands, I still thought it was compelling and very watchable and fascinating. Clearly, Katie Taylor has left her mark on Amanda Serrano in the first two fights, which Serrano could have won. I had Serrano winning the second one 6-4, by the way. The first two fights could have gone to Serrano. They didn't. This was a Katie Taylor win. I had it a draw. There was very little action. I thought it was a very close fight, but it was just pipped by Taylor, who did all the better work. But Amanda played into her hands by standing off her, which meant that Katie's speed, hand speeds, and her precision work and her efficiency just showed up. Because Serrano is an aggressive volume puncher, come forward, counter punching volume puncher. She didn't do that in this fight. She tried to box Katie Taylor, and you're going to lose if you box Katie Taylor. Chantel Cameron showed the blueprint. You've got to get in her face, you've got to hit her hard. Yeah, and Amanda tried to do that twice and it didn't work. I thought, I don't want to call her gun shy. It was still fascinating. The purses were extraordinary, the biggest purses women have ever had. 17 title belts on the line. You were there, you'd have heard it. Largest number of title belts ever on a line. Jake Paul in a big comfy chair watching it all. Congrats to him. He's doing a great job in women's boxing. I'm sure you saw Fran Hennessy there supporting Sav Marshall. I've just come back from paddleboarding with her a couple of weeks ago. Story to be told in the Telegraph. Great fun that was. I hope they spoke to Jake Paul. Ebony Bridges signed by him now. Rhiannon Dixon was out there. I think she's been talking to him. Hopefully has been. Congrats to him on really making a difference to women's boxing. He gets a miserable time from a lot of us a lot of the time. But in this highway, he's doing an amazing job.
Mm. Yeah, moving on to this week. Huge week. So much going on. Like you say, Usyk Dubois in London, Pacquiao, Barrios in Vegas, and also Matchroom of that Bam Rodriguez
Yeah.
against Cafu fight in Texas. Usyk Dubois, what's your breakdown of this one? Couple years on from the first fight in Poland. What's going to be different? Do you think it'll go the same?
Well, I mean, I know behind the scenes some of his team have said, "Why is he doing this? Why does he need to carry on?" But he's still got the heart of a lion. He's the most skilled boxer still on the planet, in my view, active world champion on the planet. Um, he's already a Hall of Famer. He's a warrior on the road. He's a very popular man. As I said at the top of the show, or not the show, but at the top of our show, um, he he carries his status as a champion with great aplomb and great sincerity, as today with the unveiling of the tapestry in Trafalgar Square. It's not always about him. And yet when he gets in the ring, he really is about him. He's incredibly focused. Yes, he's 39 in January. Yes, his opponent is 11 years younger than him, has just eviscerated Anthony Joshua under the arches at Wembley, who's done his dress rehearsal for this fight, this second fight, if you like, by walking out first as the world champion against Anthony Joshua. And he'll walk out first again in the sequence on Saturday night. 90,000 tickets, big occasion. Daniel Dubois has grown. I've been into camp with him myself. I've really enjoyed him. Really enjoyed him. I'm just transcribing it and writing it up for the Telegraph tonight. Such a transformation in him. And yet, even though I consider him to be very dangerous going into this fight, I just think we've seen from Oleksandr Usyk the ability to administer his IQ in the ring, to make people miss, to make them pay, to use his footwork, to adapt and adopt during fights. And I think Daniel will be dangerous early. I think Usyk will take over from round 6, and I think he'll get ahead in the fight, and I think he'll demoralise Daniel and may even stop him towards the end. For all the Don Charleses in the world watching this, it's not my heart saying this, it's my head. Doesn't mean I don't want Daniel to win. I'd love him to win, to become the first Brit to win the undisputed title on these shores. I'm just giving my professional opinion of what I think will happen. But I'm really looking forward to it. Proceedings kick off tomorrow. We're around Wembley all week. I think I'm doing a bit of Gold Star work as well on the Saturday. Might even be interviewing the Gypsy King in front of the fans. I'm waiting for that to be confirmed. That'll be good fun. Talk Sport and the Telegraph all week. You know what these weeks are like. You've got Vegas. But I'm at the big one, if I can say it that way.
Yeah,
there's pluses and minuses. You know, you'll lose more money than I will this week.
Well, yeah, undoubtedly, probably
But
already.
You'll have a lot more fun. But you'll probably have a lot more fun.
We'll see. We'll see. Just on Fury, like you said, he'll be there this weekend. Do you expect him to fight the winner of this fight on Saturday?
No,
No.
no, I don't. I expect him to have a tune-up fight and then fight Anthony Joshua. I expect him to fight Oleksandr Usyk. If Usyk wins this and then wins another one, and then it'll be time for the trilogy, and that might be the last fight of the era between all the big boys. But Fury needs to win his tune-up. Joshua needs to win a tune-up. He needs to beat Joshua. Then Usyk needs to beat Dubois and maybe a Parker, and then we'll get Fury Usyk, probably in Riyadh for the culmination of an extraordinary 3-year period. When you think, by the way, Jonathan, that it's less than 2 years ago that in Roslav, I think you were there. Were you there for that one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't remember seeing you in the Cuban bar that week.
I was there. I saw you.
Yeah, well, we were there. We were there every night. It got later and later, didn't it? 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And then coming back to pick up our phones that we'd all left there because we were having such a good time. What a trip that was. It was less than 2 years ago, and look how the heavyweight division has grown in that period, and it's been an extraordinary time. So by the end of next year, if Usyk and Fury meet, I think it will be an amazing end to what has been a brilliant era in the heavyweight division. I'm just pulling this up to show you, or not show you, but so I've got all this in front of me. I'm looking at without trying to make a big deal that it's not your website, the Box Nation website that's reached 100,000 followers. Martin Bacoli, Ajit Kabai. Oh, sorry, hang on. Oh,
This is Omar.
Right, sorry. Gave him a bit of a plug there, didn't I? Martin Bacoli, Ajit Kabayel, Anthony Joshua is not Frank Warren's guy, but Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, Gilles Zhang, Fabio Wardley, Moses Itauma. 8 of those guys are in Frank Warren's stable. I mean, if you told me that 2 years ago that that's what we'd be looking at right now, and Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk would still be in the mix, it's an extraordinary scene, isn't it? You know, you wouldn't be there right now if it wasn't for Manny Pacquiao, and that is why when Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather were in their pomp, that's why I've done 100 times in Vegas, more than 100, and the big period of that was UFC, numbered events, Ricky Hatton, Joe Calzaghe, Amir Khan, Floyd Mayweather, and Manny Pacquiao. I probably stayed in Los Angeles 40 times, but those guys were getting you to America 5-6 times. But you're there because of Manny Pacquiao, not because of Mario Barrios, because Pacquiao's such a big figure. You know, I mean, over the years, I've done reports for BBC World Service on him, written pieces on news for him, covered the fact he was involved in the elections in his own country. Everybody in his country knows who Manny Pacquiao is. Everybody, you know. We have not got, well, you could probably, if you put Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua together in our country, that's Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines. So, have a good time with the Filipinos because they'll be everywhere.
Who do you think wins this fight Saturday?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that. I thought you'd forgotten to ask me. Well, as Bob said, he needs a miracle. I spoke to Bob for Talk Sports about 2.5, 3 weeks ago now. Bob will be there. Bob was at his Hall of Fame induction, which is ironic because you're meant to have been retired to get into the Hall of Fame. What do I think? I think he'll give it a good shot. I think his hand speed will be blurring to begin with, but I think he'll slow down fairly quickly. And I think he'll get quite slovenly. If Barrios is feeling merciful, Pacquiao will lose on points. If Barrios gets ahead of steam, and I was very impressed with him at where was it? Los Angeles against, I cannot remember now, on the undercard of Crawford and Medrimov.
Sorry? Oh, I think he was on the Mike Tyson card, wasn't he?
Yeah, another Mexican.
Abel Ramos. That was it.
Yes, Ramos. Thank you.
Yeah, that was on the card.
Yeah, Ramos. Brilliant fight that was, and he came back to win that fight. He's not the biggest puncher in the world, so that might give Manny a little bit of an opportunity. But we shall see. It's going to be you roll back the years. The atmosphere will be amazing. They'll sell a load of tickets. It'll be great to be around him. Give him my regards if you have a chance to interview him one-on-one. His English is no better now than it was 20 years ago, so you won't get much out of him. You're better off doing it in Tagalog and getting it translated because you might get something deeper. But if you can get the interview with his son as well, who's on the card with him.
Yeah, I did interview him a few weeks ago. So.
Oh, cool.
And that actually brings me on to my last bit because I spoke to his son. It's yet to be released, but it will be this week. And I asked him about fighting Campbell Hatton because he's a similar sort of weight. Obviously, the dad's obviously fought. Yeah. Yesterday, we found out the news that Campbell has retired. Ricky Hatton said it's boxing now. So what's your reaction to Campbell retiring? I think it came as a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, the irony is he's retired and his dad's coming back in December at the age of 46, or 48, but whatever it is, or 44. Maybe it's 46. I think he's realised he can't go any further with the sport. He gave it a great shot. He reminded us a lot of his father. He's different physically from his dad. And he's had enough. I saw a weird headline. I'm not sure what he's gone to do, but he retires to become a teacher or something, doesn't he?
I think I can't remember what Ricky said.
There was a headline on it. I didn't read the full headline, unfortunately. I've got to confess. I'm overtaken by other matters this week. Yeah, that would have been a good fight. Pacquiao versus Hatton versus Pacquiao. But I'm glad to see the late great Colin Hart said to me once, "Son, he's going to get hurt in there. He's too easy to hit." And maybe that's the answer. Maybe he's had enough. He's had a couple of difficult nights, and he'll always have the bug. He's got it from his dad, hasn't he? And he's a lovely kid, Campbell, lovely kid, as is Ricky, of course. But I'm never disappointed when someone says they've had enough. When Delicious Ori said he'd had enough after one pro fight, people have got their reasons. If they haven't got it in them, it's a very, very tough game. It's a very tough game, and we see a lot of people wrecked mentally, physically, and emotionally after 20 years doing it. And it's not. You're not going to get an injury. You're not going to injure your knee or your ankle or your hamstring. It's your brain that can get badly injured in boxing. So, he'll be sad, but if he's thinking that, then he's made the right decision.
It was quite admirable as well because they always say boxers often go on way too long, but he's obviously felt that it's the right time and that's it.
Yeah, well, some don't because they know it's right. It was a shock when Delicious Ori retired the other day. It was a shock when Nina Hughes retired because I knew that she had a lot of hunger in her to carry on. But 2 kids, 38, I think she is, 39. But what's Hatton, 27 or something?
I believe he's 24.
24, yeah. So, he just made the decision. As you said, and I agree with you, you have to applaud him for taking the decision.
Cool, Gareth. Have a good week. I'm sure you'll be crazy busy as always with Talk Sport for Usyk Dubois too,
Telegraph,
and the
William Hill.
yeah, William Hill as well. And I'm hopefully we will catch up next week to debrief on this crazy week.
Lovely. It's what is it? Grand arrivals tonight in a couple of hours.
No, fight week starts on Wednesday this week.
Okay, so crap tables later or not?
Maybe blackjack. We'll see.
Go and have a bit of blackjack. Once you're two to 400 up, pull out. But you'll play all night probably. You look very well, by the way. You've lost some weight, haven't you?
Been trying.
Yeah, you look very well. I've got to say that. You look. I've thought that the whole interview. You've got your jawline back. You've lost
the
probably
the lighting in this Vegas.
The lighting helps probably, but you've lost 10 pounds, haven't you?
Oh, I wish. I wish.
Well, you look very well. You
Appreciate
look very
it.
well. Whatever you're doing, keep it going.
Have a good week, Gareth, and I'll speak to you next week.
You too. Don't let the bastards get you down. Yeah.
Take it easy.
Cheers.